Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
I'm James from eDirectory. With us today, we have Emerson and Gabriel from our marketing department. Hi, guys.
Hello.
As well as Daniel from operations.
Hello.
So great to see everybody. I hope everybody had a great holiday and everybody's fired up about the new year. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about launching an online directory, which is an important topic. But before we do, just a couple logistics about sort of the webinar in general. The first thing is, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything they want to add, you can just post it into the chat. From time to time, we'll stop and pick up the questions, as well as at the end of the webinar, we'll be able to answer anything anybody has for that. Also, we will be posting a copy of this webinar to our blog. It's typically posted within 24 hours. So if you missed something or just want to review, you can go back to our website and check out the post on this webinar, the recording of this webinar in the future, a little bit later. So, and also at the end here, we'll post, or sometime during, we'll post some contact info if anybody needs to get in touch with any of us individually about any specific issues. So, great. So I will go ahead and share my screen here. Give me 1 second. And did that come up okay for everybody? Okay, great. So today, the topic of the day is getting your online directory off the ground. I guess the first thing before we start is I went over a little bit about us already. So here's our team, and you can reach out to us. We'll post in some contact info again in the chat later. And for anybody that's new to us and what we do here, just very quickly about the eDirectory platform. eDirectory is a software platform to create online listing-based websites and mobile apps. It's used for all sorts of things, but often various types of guides, local guides, vendor directories, those types of things. It fits any industry and purpose. You can customize the listing templates. We have widgets for the pages. You can customize the fields, et cetera, et cetera. We have integrated apps that are actually native apps that you can submit under your brand, fully white label to your account in the app stores, the iPhone and Android. And also the platform has a source code available. We have a source code option if you want to do your own customization. We also have a team of developers if you want to have us do customizations to the solution as well. And a lot of it you don't even need to customize. It's highly configurable through the admin section. You can upload your logo and all of that info with it. So great. So now we'll get started talking about getting your directory off the ground. And the directory business model, I just wanted to mention, is really one of the best business models out there. And the reason for that is because it's fairly easy to set up. It doesn't take too many resources, too much time, et cetera. It's fairly low cost in terms of businesses in general to get it off the ground. And then once you get it off the ground, it's a very good model because it can generate recurring revenue. So you can generate ongoing subscriptions, and users add and update a lot of the content. So you don't need to pay people to do a lot of the work producing the content as well. So it is a really great model, but it does take a little bit of effort to get off the ground. And so it's good to put that effort in up front and make sure things are up and running. So we'll talk a little bit about this today, and then we'll open it up for questions if anybody has any questions on this or any other topic. So the first thing that's really important is to set up a sort of a pre-launch checklist. These are the things that you want to do and timelines for when you want to do it in terms of launching your business. Some of this some of this is just the content in general, identifying your audience, who they are, what type of content you need to build. A lot of it is listings, obviously, which you can import using the system from an Excel spreadsheet. But also there's other types of content, articles, blog posts, just content pages explaining like about us, all that type of thing. So it's a good idea to get them all listed, what pages you want to create, how you want the navigation to be done, etc. And get all that organized up front. And then there's a number of settings that need to be done within the directory as well. These are things like integration of the various Google APIs, Google Maps, etc. Some of it is the payment, what kind of payment you're going to accept for the listings. We support Stripe, PayPal, and a number of other payment gateways. So it's a good idea to think about that a little bit. Otherwise, in addition to that, probably the next step is actually creating the actual content. So after you've imported the listings, and you can import them, and then you probably want to do things like build them out more fully. These are things like adding in photos. A lot of times when you import the base listings, you buy or build sort of a spreadsheet that might be a little bit thin in terms of it doesn't have all the information about a listing. So it's a good idea, at least for key categories and everything, to go in and create the content manually and upload photos, upload things like menus for restaurants if you're doing a local guide, that type of thing. The directory also has a classifieds module, which you may or may not want to use. Classifieds can be used for all sorts of things. These are things like selling equipment or those type of things. You can put in a buy button, that kind of thing, link to purchase things, that sort of thing. But also they're used for jobs, etc. for that. So you may want to set up a section on that. If you're not going to use any of these features, we recommend that you turn it off. Also, blog posts are very important, or articles, just to give your directory some fresh ongoing content. And it's a good idea to have sort of a schedule or a rhythm for creating some of this content. So you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to do a blog every week or every 2 weeks, and then map out your topics, map all those out in advance. Write down a couple months of topics, and that way you can start thinking about them, and it's a little bit easier to generate those. Also, banner ads. The directory supports various banner sizes. You can put the ads in different locations throughout, decide where they go throughout the site. Banner ads, probably a good idea. If you haven't sold the ads yet to your customers, you can use them for internal promotion, things that you just want to promote yourselves, or you can give them away to nonprofits, those kind of things people often do. One other thing just to mention about the content is generally the categories. Categories are very, very important for a directory-based site. Because people that are browsing by category, they're looking to make a purchase decision, and you're helping them make that purchase decision. And so that is really the value that your directory is adding, is helping people make that purchase decision. So when you're setting up the categories, you really want to think about what people are looking for and make sure that the ones people are looking for are probably set as featured. And that way they'll come up with a little bit more prominence than the other ones. Make sure they have nice looking photos for the categories and category descriptions as well. You can upload a photo, a little icon for the categories. And that helps with the SEO with it. So Google will pick those category pages up and help drive traffic to your website. One of the most important pages on your site, obviously, is the home page. On your directory, obviously that's probably going to get the most traffic on the site. So there's a couple things to think about when you're designing your homepage. When you buy the system out of the box, it has a number of widgets already set up on the homepage. We've put a little bit of thought into it, but really you want to tweak it and make sure that it sort of fits your market and what you're doing. So there's a number of things. Probably the first thing, I have it here listed as second, but probably the most important thing to think about is actually the navigation on the site, because often people look at that very quickly. So that as they come down, sort of scroll down, as they sort of scan their eyes down the top of the screen, you can set up the navigation, which is like home and then the different pages throughout the site. You can customize the navigation instead of just saying like listings, classifieds, etc., as we have it out of the box. You can actually deep link from the navigation into individual categories. So depending on what your site is featuring, you may just want to have it where you click and go into search results for specific categories. Or you may want to have it go into just specific static content pages, your blog, those kind of things. And it's a good idea to change the name. So out of the box, our system might say listings, blog, classifieds, etc. You may name your blog something and instead change the name from blog to whatever you named your blog. Or instead of listing, you may call it local businesses or what's hot or what's going on for events, that kind of thing for it as well. The next thing, sort of as you scan down the page, is probably we have a big block there of sort of featured items, and this is a slider that can have some featured items in there, and you can upload those and put in some items that you think are important or relevant to the users. Also, it's a good idea to many of our customers run a newsletter in addition to just running the directory. They run and mail out a newsletter every week or 2 weeks with a couple blog entries, whatever fresh content, maybe if listings are added during that period, they drop them in the newsletter and get people to check them out. So it's a good idea on the homepage to put in a sign up for our newsletter, and you can put in a little widget for that. We have a widget editor that does that. Also, if you're using our mobile app platform, our native mobile apps, you can promote the apps here on the homepage. There's a widget there that says, hey, download our mobile apps. And then the footer of the homepage is important just because it has contact information and everything. You know, if everybody wants to figure out where you are or contact you, that sort of thing, that info and some other sort of site layout info is often on the footer of the page there. So anything to add? Do you have anything to add at this point, Emerson? Anybody? Anything that I missed at this point? I'll keep going here otherwise.
James, I was going to mention about the feature items because not everybody will use, for example, the articles module or even the classifieds module, just business listings, for instance. So we may want to feature the categories, just like on the navigation. It's a common tweak to think about before the launch, identifying the best categories or the most promising categories on your niche. Because it's important, because moving forward, we're going to talk about promotion, etc., and having a clear understanding about the main categories will help you planning the next steps.
Okay, great. Yep, absolutely. Okay, great. One other page that's important is your Advertise page, which is the page that people use to sign up for a listing, to create a listing and pay you. So it's a good idea to take a look at that page and decide where you want it linked from. Often it's linked on the footer. You may want to put it in somewhere more prominent on the site. Also, there's another path of entry for people to come in and create listings, which is the claim this listing feature that we have. So there's a lot of sort of entry points to get into the checkout. But the Advertise page, it shows the different packages you're offering. The system supports various levels of listings. You know, you can have a free listing, bronze level, silver level, gold level, call them what you want. You can change what features are in individual listing levels. It's a good idea on the Advertise page to not just take it out of the box and actually customize it to the point we actually have many people that don't even use our stock page. They just create a whole new custom page and then just put the links in to the checkout of the different levels in it, where they can really make their value proposition of what they're selling and why very clear there. The other thing you can do is add additional services beyond the directory, whatever else you can think of, bundling other services or other things that you may offer with it. And you can just change some of the text on here to say, hey, buy a basic listing and get free entry into our weekly tips webinar, or whatever it is. If you're doing some other services in addition, you can just create them and put them in there and check out, and they pay at the same time for that. One other feature that we have is free trials if you're using the Stripe payment gateway. Stripe is probably the best one if it's supported in your region. I think in the US and Europe, nearly everybody's using Stripe these days. So you can do a free trial for a period if you want for that. And after you've got it all done, it's a good idea just to test the checkout flow, make sure you don't have Stripe on there, sort of test mode, etc. Test it yourself, make sure the checkout's all working as far as the Advertise page goes. Contact page. This is another important page on your website. One, it's really a good idea because creating one of these, because it gives it sort of creates this sort of sense of reliability for your brand. And so you want to think about the content you want in there. You want it to be authentic. It's a good idea to put your address on there. If you have a physical address, you can show, put about yourself, who you are, your history, that kind of thing. It gives credibility to you, and it helps drive engagement. So it is a good idea to create this. Also, if you have social media profiles, probably a good idea to put links to those on there. Privacy policy in terms of use. These are kind of the boring pages of the website. I think most people probably don't read them in detail, but it is a good idea to put those on there, especially if you're in Europe and they have the GDPR privacy laws and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, out of the box, we're not lawyers and we're not able to give you any legal information, but you can probably, the best way to do this if you want to save money on a lawyer is to probably go out on the internet and find a model. Don't use this lorem ipsilon sort of text placeholder in your terms of service. Go out and find a model, paste it in there. You can hire a lawyer. It's probably a good idea, I should say, to hire a lawyer to write the terms of service for you. For that, but you need to have these things up there, privacy policy, terms of use, these days up on the internet. Pretty easy to do though, as far as that goes. The directory also has a little fact page, frequently asked questions, just to help people signing up, or what happens if I forgot my password, these kind of things. Probably not the most important page on the site, but it's sort of helpful for site visitors and site advertisers in terms of managing the directory. One other thing is a couple of site settings that are really important that you make sure that you have configured when you're getting launched. These are, if you log into the site manager, there's some settings in here. You'll see this little icon here, if you can see, to do a couple of the settings. There is a process to sort of walk through on your first run of after you've installed the system, but one of them that's really important is making sure that you have your email address pre-configured. The email address, not your personal one necessarily, but like the one that the site will be using to send email notification to advertisers and receive emails and that sort of thing. So make sure that email sending configuration is all set up. The directory system has an automated renewal reminder. So if somebody has a listing, they'll get a renewal reminder that says, hey, your listings are going to expire, click here to renew, that kind of thing. And then it also can send out stats, traffic stats to the site, that kind of thing, to advertisers so they can see if their listing's getting traffic. All sorts of things there, forgot password, all that kind of stuff depends on emails. So that's important. Also, your social login things, there's some integrations with Facebook, Google integration if you want to use Google sign in, so people can sign in with their Google account and they don't need to create a whole new account, that kind of thing. One other thing that is important is the approvals, which is the sort of the moderation queue. eDirectory has some features where you can moderate as people create listings. You might get spam listings, and then you can set them how you want the moderation to be done. Do you want them to go live immediately, or do you want to approve them before they go live? If somebody adds a review, do you want it to approve it before it goes live to make sure it's not spammy or there's bad language in it, that kind of thing. So you can configure all that. And then there's some things around the mobile apps as well, links to where they are in your App Store account. You submit the mobile apps to your own iPhone developer account and your own Google developer account. We have a service that can do the submission for you if you need help with that. But there's links that go from the website to your App Store account to make sure that people can download your mobile app, that kind of thing, or a coming soon link if you're not going to use it or but still want to publicize it now in there. So a couple of those settings, but as you go down the settings in there, you'll see the various different level pricing and other types of settings in the site manager there as you go. And of course, if you need any help, we have a support team available. You can submit tickets to support@edirectory.com. We also have a live chat on the website as well. We have a setup service if you want us to take care of all the setup stuff for you. And then we'll have a dedicated account manager for you to help with that. So lots of options there. And then a couple other integrations that are really important. One of them is the Google integrations. Google has a whole bunch of different integrations. It's used for Google Analytics so that you can see your full site analytics. Google Tag Manager, if you're including other types of things, if you're putting in Google Ads, et cetera, et cetera. Whole bunch of other integrations you can do with social chat marketing via Google Tag Manager. Some of the legal stuff, if you need sort of disabled access or cookies or other things set up, there's ways to do this via Tag Manager and setting those in there. Cookies to your other social accounts, all sorts of things like that can be integrated in the settings area using Google Tag Manager.
James,
so if you want to go ahead.
I'm sorry to jump in. Just one question about the new Google Analytics format. It will be a question from Roberts.
Okay.
We will be updating this integration on the next version. The next release will be ready for Google Analytics 4. But on all current versions, you can do this. Can use this new Google Analytics tracking code using Google Tag Manager. Simply create the integration, the built-in integration with the directory, create your container, etc. And then inside Google Tag Manager, you are going to fire the tag, the script from Google Analytics 4, so you can have all the trackings of the analytics from your website into the new platform from Google. That's it.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, and just a summary of what Emerson said there. Google came out with a new version of Google Analytics. You can already use this new version using Google Tag Manager to put the key in there. If you need any help with that, you can reach out to our support team as well, as far as that goes. Okay, great. And just a little about if you want to do a pre-launch, you have your domain up, but you're not quite ready to go live. You can create a custom maintenance page or a custom page that says, hey, we're coming soon. And then you can build your data out if you want to do that. You can also build out segmented email lists, newsletter, form lead widgets, and put those on the pages as well if you're doing some pre-launch stuff. You can also just, if you don't have anything up on the domain yet, you may just keep it hidden on a temporary domain. Typically, when people order from us, we set up a staging URL for you. And so then you can work on the staging URL. And then when you're ready to go live, turn it on as well. And then, so you have everything ready to go as far as the site goes. Next steps, spreading the word, do some SEO to get organic traffic. We have some other webinars and other resources on our website about doing SEO. There's also a lot of resources out there on the internet. SEO Moz and other places have resources available on that. But it is good to put some time and budget into doing SEO. Obviously, social media, excuse me. You want to create social medias on the big platforms and post there. Maybe some influencers depending on your segment. Local visits are a good idea, just to sort of get the word out initially, especially if you're doing a local guide. These are sort of visiting key businesses. Often people print door stickers that say, you know, like you've seen it for Yelp, like people love us on Yelp, those kind of things. You can print physical stickers and bring them by people as they sign up for listings. You can do paid ads for main categories, paid ads for top advertisers, a lot of different options there as far as that goes, and getting things launched. And then after you're sort of in the commercial phase of things, make sure you really understand what your value proposition is, what you're selling. Put together a sales pitch, practice it. Talk to people, get them involved. You probably want to prepare a media kit that shows what your different packages are. You know, a type of PDF document that you may print out if you're going to places physically to talk to them, but also a digital one that you can show on your laptop or send out to people. That kind of thing that just shows what your offerings are, maybe what they cost, a little bit about the site, who your audience is. If you have good traffic numbers, you probably want to put that up there as well. And I think at this point, we'll open it up to questions or any more comments from Emerson and the field at that point.
I believe that's the full story. We have 2 questions about payment gateways, integrations with Clover payment gateway with First Data, and another one that I'm not sure the name here. Chase payments.
Yes, Chase.
Yeah.
Okay, Chase. Yeah, so those both sound like probably, I know First Data, I believe, is an American credit card processor. So let me tell you a little just quick about how credit card processing on the internet works. Historically, there is your merchant account, which actually processes the credit cards. And then on top of that, there's this thing called an internet gateway. When Stripe came around, they rolled both of those up into one, and now, hey, sign up for Stripe, and then they'll just put the money right into your business's bank account. But historically, you needed to sign up for a credit card processing account called a merchant account, and they would go in and check your business's credit and do all that sort of stuff. First Data was one of the big leaders in that market, or is still probably. I think it's owned by one of the big banks. I'm not sure. And then I believe Clover is the internet gateway on the front of that. So I think we don't have support out of the box for Clover. We do have another one called Authorize.net, which is a very widely used. Years ago, it was the very most used thing until Stripe came around. Called Authorize.net, and I know they work with First Data, so you may be able to use your merchant account. That's often the more work to sign up for, and then connect that via Authorize.net. As far as that goes, and Chase is sort of the same way. I think that is that's a bank, so that is probably the actual merchant account, and then you can connect internet gateway to work with the Chase account. And so we support Authorize.net. If you really need us to support another gateway, you can reach out to our team for just getting a quote to do custom development. Typically, these payment gateways have an API on them, and our development team can just customize the code a little bit to connect to your gateway. So if you really need to use Clover, reach out to us and we'll see what's involved to get that done. It's typically not horribly expensive, but it typically takes a few days of work to code out those gateways. Yeah, if you have any more questions about that kind of thing, just let us know, or we can have an account manager reach out and discuss further about, you know, why you want to do this and that sort of thing. Sometimes you get a better rate with some of these over Stripe. It depends on your volume and those type of things. But in terms of gateways in general, I think in the US anyway, Stripe is the most used one, followed by Authorize.net, and then PayPal is probably number 3 as far as all those go. Okay, let me see. We had a comment about, can you send a link to live sites? Yeah, we'll have somebody reach out and send you a link to some sites that we have. Comment, I've just launched, very nerve-wracking, flooding social media pages in a group I created. That's great. Yeah, you absolutely need to do that stuff. And I think the one other thing is be patient there and realize it's going to take a little bit of time to sort of build interest. And it's really good to go deep on a couple topic areas and get discussion engagement going around that. And then you'll find people come back and they are creating content and that sort of thing. So good luck to you. Let's see, we had a question here.
There's one from Warren. How do I add a news aggregator to my sites?
How do you add a news aggregator to your site? Okay, so probably the news aggregator would probably they have a widget or an API or some little code snippet that you add in, and so we have a custom content widget. Are you able to do a quick screen share, Emerson, and show them how to edit a page and just pop in a widget there for custom content?
Yeah, sure.
We'll pull that up for you just real quick to show you how you can integrate little news widgets or weather widgets or other little widgets, that kind of thing. As far as that goes.
Okay, ready here.
Okay, here goes Emerson. And so I think the first thing, Emerson, before you even get in there, maybe go back to the front of the site. Just go to demodirectory.com and show them how they can hit the edit this link option. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think this is one of the big features often people don't even realize. So if you're logged in, I guess you're not logged into the site manager.
Okay.
Yeah, go into marketing.demodirectory, you should be logged in. I think that's the key.
No, here I'm logged in.
But go back to the home page and then go back to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Now we go. So you see how, say you're on this page or one of the other pages in your site, there is the edit this page link. And you can click that. And when you click that, it will take you directly into the page editor for this very specific page. And then basically to add a news aggregator or some other type of widget, you can hit the plus icon there to add a new widget. And in there, you'll see the custom content widget right there. And within this, you can you'll be able to paste in your code. Typically the code snippet goes in there with the source, etc. there, and it'll save it and it'll go in there. So it's a pretty straightforward process. You can drag widgets around and move them around throughout the website as well. So, and if you have trouble with that, reach out to our support team. They're pretty good, I think, about helping out with that, with those kind of types of things. So hopefully that explained it. Let's see what's next for questions. Hope I'm not skipping anybody here. Okay. Okay, great. We had, I think the next one from Lawrence, what should we expect new for 2023 and when will that happen? Yeah, we have a team of people working hard on the new on the next version. So we're hoping to get that out here in Q1. I can't give you an exact date yet. The features that'll be in there, we're still working and deciding exactly what's going to make the release, and some of it we like to kind of keep quiet until we're a little bit closer to the release date. But I can tell you we are working hard on putting together improving sort of the checkout flow and the package options for people signing up for listings. Some new widgets, a little bit of layout stuff to make the site, look a little bit, new, those kind of things, as well as we're working on mobile apps to improve sort of the local experience for our native mobile apps as well. So we're really excited about the new year. Lots of great stuff coming, and we'll keep you updated via blog and email when that's coming out. And I'm sure you'll receive a note when the new version is getting close to being ready. Okay, great. I am creating a video to help members with onboarding. Is there a way I can add a button to link to this? And is Canva format acceptable? Yeah, I think you can use the Canva allows export right to little widget format, right, guys? Canva, I'm sure they do. They give you snippets of HTML or things that you can embed in other websites. So that custom content widget that we just showed you is great. You can use that. You can also paste in, if you just want to like create a giant YouTube video or something, you can paste in the YouTube snippet in there as well, and it'll come up. So if you're having any trouble getting the content to show up where you want on the site, reach out to our support team, and they will be able to help you with that. When the updated version rolls out, will I need to update anything on our sites? So typically when we do upgrades, it's by request only. You'll get an email or something that says we have a new version ready, and if you want to upgrade, you just send us a note saying, hey, please upgrade. And then we have a process that we run where we upgrade to a staging site, and then when it's ready, give approval, and then it goes live on that. So it isn't fully just like boom, immediately your thing's going to be updated. Because sometimes from version to version, we change some of the widgets around. And so we like to give people an opportunity to make those decisions instead of just sort of pushing it out to everybody as far as that goes. But if you request the upgrade, we'll send you a note with the full process there. It's pretty simple. Our team takes care of it. When the new release comes out, use the new features. Will it be easy as downloading the new version? Yeah, it's typically our team does the upgrades for you, so it's very easy for you. And then you'll have it on the site and ready to go. As far as that goes, yeah. When will the new upgraded version be ready? We are looking at getting it out in Q1. That's the most I can say. Hopefully the earlier part rather than the later part. It won't be out this month, though. I'll tell you that. We're doing what we can. I got them cracking the whip on these guys, right? We're trying to get things going as far as that goes. So great. Let's see. Any more questions? What will the new features be in the upgrade? We're not able to announce the new features quite yet. I just mentioned we're working on some things with the packages, the local experience, new widgets, hoping to make some design improvements, et cetera. Lots of good stuff. We'll get you an email as soon as we have formal list of those ready to go. Okay, well, great. So I guess last call for questions here. If there's any more, drop them in. And we will answer them as best we can. Do you guys have any more comments, et cetera? Emerson?
No, I don't think so. Not today.
Just mentioning that we just put in a few links on the chat, so feel free to check that out. We have other webinars with relevant points that James mentioned in the presentation. We also will list these links in the blog post by tomorrow.
Okay, great. Just a comment came in, Mr. El Qasim. We'll check that out and let you know what the differences are. Typically, we have the leading product out there. We've been doing this a while. So we'll reach out to you and do a review there. Is there any possibility to have a site review to see if I missed anything or positive suggestions or improvements? Yeah, you can send a note to our support team, and somebody will take a look at your site there, and we'll see if we have any suggestions for you. I think the big suggestion in terms of launching is just you take a look at it yourself, and are you creating a resource that people want to use? Is your guide good? Are you sort of conveying information that's useful for people? Are you able to help them make purchase decisions? Are you adding value? And if you feel like, hey, yeah, I'm providing some really good information, I'm really adding value to people, you're probably going to find the site's going to be a success with a little bit of time. Will the webinar be available to review later? Yes, we post it on the blog within 24 hours or so. So great. Okay, well, thanks everybody. Thanks for the time today. We have another webinar coming up in 2 weeks. What's up next, Emerson? Do you know?
Okay, in January, we're going to do a hands-on webinar called Creating a Coming Soon page. We'll show some techniques and how to get the most out of this pre-launch initiative. It's also good for when you are going through a maintenance period longer than a day, for example. So it's good to have a page there. We'll show you how easy it is to create a page like this using the page editor. And on February, we'll have one for essential paid media strategies. And on the February 22nd, conversion goals for online directories. That's almost all the Q1 schedule for the webinars.
For webinars. Okay, great. And if anybody has any webinar suggestions, please send us an email, and we're happy to take a look at those and possibly incorporate them in. And so thanks everybody. Great. Have good luck. Happy New Year. Good luck on launching your sites, and cheers. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Brian. Thank you. Bye.